Hi everybody, this is Pinky with Pinky Jackson Organizing, and here's what I've heard many times the last few days. Help! All the donation centers are closed and I have all this stuff that I want to donate. So I want to say two things. First of all, great job. I'm really, really proud of you for digging in there while you've had some extra time at home to see what you can donate, see what you have that is not serving your highest good, and sending it on to someone who needs it, who would love it, who needs it. So great job. I know that's not always easy. It can be time consuming, it can be emotionally difficult, but I'm just really proud of you. And I'm really grateful because I firmly believe that there's enough of everything in the world. We just have to make sure that we're keeping it all circulating. And so there's some really great charities and really great nonprofits and really great just individuals and families who probably need what you have. Now, there are certain things that folks can't use, but let's talk about what they can and what you can do right now. So you're right now, and it's the end of April 2020, a lot of these centers are closed for COVID-19 precautionary reasons. But they are making plans to reopen. So what I want to talk to you about is what you can do to make it a little bit easier on yourself when you can get all these things out of your house. First of all, if possible, package things up by category: clothes, electronics, books, home decor, and label them as such, right? So if you can put them in boxes, that's great. If you have to put them in bags, think about not putting breakable things in bags unless they're like sturdy shopping bags that you can carry, carefully. But try to put like items with like items for a couple different reasons. One of those is that it's easier for you, maybe as you're doing the sorting, to go, okay, these are all the clothes, we're done, these are the shoes, we're done. The other is there's different places that take different things, and there's different places that need more of one thing than the other, and they're not all going to open up maybe the same exact time or have the same exact needs. Some places right now are filled to the rafters with things that they had because they were preparing for a big spring sale or a big spring giveaway if it's a charity or something, and they don't want any clothes, but maybe they do want shoes, or they want old laptops or things like that. So different places, they're going to need to be identifying their needs when they open back up. And so if you know what the things are, it's easier for you to get a yes from those places. The other reason that labeling them and putting the date on there is important is just to help your peace of mind that you know what this is and where it goes, and you don't have to keep rehandling it. Handling things more than once is not very efficient. So if we can just handle it, label it, date it, go. The date also lets you know when you packed it, in case there are things in there that should not be kept very long in non-climate controlled storage. If you need to put it in your garage for a couple of days and it's an electronic, great. But if it's electronics and something that can't be there through the heat of the summer or the cold of the winter, then that's really important to know the date. And the other thing is, worst case scenario, way down the road, if you just get so busy with your life and you go back to working somewhere else full time and go back to all these extracurricular activities and all these social events that we're all missing out on, and those boxes stay where they are inside your house, in your garage, in storage, wherever they may be, and you forget about them, looking at the date and going, oh my gosh, I packed this 3 months ago or 3 years ago or whatever it is, it'll hopefully make it a whole lot easier if you just say, just go. Whoever can take it, just take it. So that's a nice, that's a good way to do that. So you may have to store some things, and you may be able to give some things away anyway, okay? So to finish up the storing some things is, think about if you can have a centrally located place in your home. Is there a closet? Is there a part of your garage? Is there a part of a storeroom? Is there a trunk of a car that you can put all these things so that they can be donated? You're ready to go. It's really actionable and ready to go. So see if that is possible in a way that doesn't, feel cluttered to you and your family. So take a look and see if that's a possibility. And there's a lot of different, creative ways to do that. I know when I do a big purge, we have a big ping pong table, and when I do a big purge and I'm not quite ready to take everything, I put all the boxes under the ping pong table. and so no one's tripping over them. But when I'm ready for them to go, they're all together and I can take it all. So that's just one little idea. But there's lots of creative ideas like that. And feel free to reach out to me if you want to do like a virtual call. And I'm doing those free right now. So jump on there real quickly because that's one of the things I'm offering as my community service right now. So jump on to pinkyjackson.com and schedule one and we can figure out some ideas for you. Okay, so you may have to store them. The other thing is, although charitable organizations that deal with huge amounts of items can't really take things on right now, sometimes it's a supply and demand, and they're not staffed, and sometimes it's they have to think about how long something had been in storage in case they're worried about the virus, the COVID-19 germs being on there. Has it been packed up for at least a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks? That's still, some of the science on that is really clear and some of it is really inconclusive. So they're having to create this get back open center plan in an ever evolving situation. So they may not yet know that because it's such a bulk amount that they would have to handle or wash or clean or wipe down or whatever they may feel like they have to do. However, individuals don't have that same need. So there may be some individuals in your town who want or need the items and can carefully handle it in a way that they're comfortable and approach you and your home in a way that you're comfortable with, and rewash it or wipe it down or whatever they need to do if they have it at home. So that's a place where I've actually had really good success lately putting it on free listing sites. And so if that's something you're comfortable with, arranging a time for someone to come pick it up from your porch or to pick it up from your driveway or to meet you somewhere and you set it on the sidewalk and get back in your car and then they pick it up, I've actually had some really good results, and I had several items that I wanted to give away, and I just put them in my garage and gave people a window of time that they could come by and pick them up, and I just sat outside my garage and relaxed and did some work on my phone and let people come by and pick up things that they wanted to have for free. So it wasn't a garage sale. It was a window of time where I required people to stay physically distant, 6 to 10 feet distant, and masks. I had masks, and I asked people if they had masks to wear masks. So whatever you're comfortable with as far as accessing to your home, but definitely doing things to protect the community. And like we're hearing, and that I think is really important to know, we may all be asymptomatic carriers, and we don't want to sneeze around this stuff that we are giving someone, and who knows what they're carrying or we're carrying. So that's just something that I really want to encourage you to do, is put on a mask, cover your face with your scarf, ask them to do the same when they come pick it up. But I've had lots of people coming. I'm using Louisville Freegan's site, I'm using Craigslist Free Cycle site, and I'm also just posting it on my own personal pages about, hey, I finally went through that bookshelf again, or I've got more vases to give away, or whatever it may be. So that's a way to do that without it being a shopping situation or a larger commercial or nonprofit situation where we can't be sure of how things are handled, right? So that's the second option. The third option is, some folks know that here very shortly they're going to be going back to work and they don't have time to deal with this, but they've gone through all their closets and they've gone through their kids' closets and they've got bags and bags of stuff, and that's all they can do. And then you can arrange for a pickup, depending upon what you have and how long you can wait for a pickup. Some nonprofits do pick up directly from your porch. And it's all, especially if you have furniture that certain nonprofits want. There's always certain things, whether it be lamps or bedside tables or bedroom suits, or there's certain things that they want a whole lot and often, and are willing to pick them up. So that's something to do, especially if you have bigger things, nicer things, brand new things. And what they have to do as a facility is they have to figure out, is what you have to donate gonna cost them money or make them money to pick it up. So they're probably not gonna pick up a bag of clothes, but they may pick up several pieces of furniture if those are items that they're low on and they know they can turn over. Because even though a lot of these are nonprofits, they still have to make a profit in order to keep running their business and donate money to the causes that they're raising money for. So it still has to work for them, and many of them are really limited on pickup on their trucks and on their staff. That being said, some of them I've already been contacted by a few that are used to seeing me or my team members a couple times a week that are anxious to refill stock. So there are some that are looking for particular things and want us to be the first place that we stop on our drop-off routes. And that's going to be different in every city, in every market. So you need to check in with what's going on in your city. If you're one of our clients, we'll do those pickups and drop-offs for you and check and see who's doing what and all of that. That's part of what we do. That's included with our services with our clients. But if you're not a client and you're doing it yourself, then just call in and check and see. And right now, some phones are getting answered and some are not. Most of the websites I've looked at are pretty updated, but everyone's kind of getting ready right now to reopen and trying to figure out what they can do and what they have. And as soon as they can get more employees and volunteers on site, they'll be able to better. Sorry, my hair's in my way, so got that on my face. They'll be able to better assess which of your items that they can accept because they need those in stock, and which of those items they could pick up. So it's all we're kind of building this bridge as we're walking over it. But those are a few different options, and I think giving them to individuals and putting them out on a card table with free on your front sidewalk, if that works for your neighborhood or your HOA, if you can say free to a good home and post it in your neighborhood, Facebook group or your Nextdoor app or whatever you have to let people know, hey, I cleaned up my closet. And then give a little bit of information about the product and maybe some pictures, so if you have a picture of a few pieces of clothing and say it's all size blank, it's women's size 12, or it's children's toddler T2 2T size, or whatever it may be. And then if you're going to do it that way, if you're going to kind of get engaged online with giving things away, and I guess you could sell them too, that's another thing that does online too. We drop off for our clients. We don't do the sales for our clients, so my knee jerk is how to drop things off and give these to charity. But if you're giving them away or doing things to individuals, I would recommend that you think through the parameters that you want to set for how much time you'll spend managing this, right? Because you don't want to answer 12 times someone asking, what time can I come by? And then another 6 times, is that item still available? What you may want to do is say, here's the picture of everything I've got available. I'm going to leave it on a card table in my driveway from noon to 4 p.m. on Saturday, first come, first served, and just leave it at that. If you have the time to where you can help people not come out unnecessarily, because if it's first come, first serve, someone might drive and it might be gone. And if you have time to help them a little bit, to say, to go through the list and say, okay, this is gone, I'm only giving my direct address to the first person who wants it, and they have one day to pick it up or whatever. Just kind of think about a balance of you wanting to do the right thing and not just throw this in the trash, but to pass it on to someone who wants it or who needs it. And does it really decrease your stress, decrease the clutter in your life if you're replacing that stuff with a whole bunch of time clutter because you're answering individual questions over and over again, So that's important to think about, because in order to declutter our home, we have to declutter our calendar. And you don't want to then clutter it back up with managing something, especially if you're giving it away for free or selling it for almost free. So you might have to create some boundaries around that. I personally like to kind of give a window of time and just, let people know I'll take the post down, or I'll mark, gone on it when it's gone, and then I leave it at that. And then here's the thing, kind of provocative to say, are you sure it's all donatable? Does some of it need to go to the landfill, right? And I am a tree hugger from way back, and I believe strongly in that landfill reduction. However, there are many things that when they end up at a donation center, they do go right into their compactor. It's just a sad truth. some because of supply and demand, so you can pick other ones. I know the ones in Louisville, where I am, where we take things to, because they put everything on the shelf. They have lots of space and they have lots of need, and they're happy to sell things, for a really cheap price. Whereas other places um, kind of edit their collection of donations that they receive more, and they want to price them higher. And so there are many things that end up just going into the trash can, into their big compactor. So that's something to think about too. Like the fact that you're getting rid of it, can someone really use it? Is it torn? Is it stained? Is it not functioning? Is it not working? Does it need to go to a donation center, or could you take it to a recycling center? Like the recycling centers here are all open. Like I just took today light bulbs and old electronics and cardboard and paper. I took a lot of things um, today. Those are all still open. So it could be that you have some things that are broken or that you thought would be cute to decorate with, but they're just glass jars and they could be recycled or something like that. So kind of think outside the box of all the different ways that you could let things go, and know that all of these places are going to reopen. There's a huge demand for them, and they're going to reopen, and they could be reopening now in your area. They could be reopening next week or next month, but they're going to reopen. So it's a matter of you balancing how long you can handle having those things that you have mentally, emotionally let go of, having those still physically in your home, with your, balance. Like, how can I handle that with your need to give it to charity? What feels right to you? What feels healthy to you? There's no need to just be really harsh and judgmental on yourself and demand that it has to go somewhere else, unless that's what makes you happy. Unless you only want it to go to a certain place, then you need to check in with that certain place and see when they can take it. And if you just need it gone, well, then you have a lot more options. So it's about what's important to you and what helps you meet your goals. And as far as, for those of you who are my clients here in Louisville, I am definitely bird dogging the donation site availability. And if you haven't already, you'll be getting a link for me to schedule your pickups and to schedule, your organizing sessions and all of that. So you don't need to worry about it if we're working with you. But if you're doing some DIY work, or you're in another market or something,